All right, we at it again. We at it again. Technical difficulties, but we are back. We are back. We are back. Hey, today is garden day. It's Friday. You got a job, and if you ain't got no job, hey, what you doing with your life? Go plant something. All right. So basically, we're gonna be talking about gardening today. No swirl zone. I should have put your name in the title. We was talking about that. I meant to do it yesterday, but yesterday was an off day for me, and it was task after task. I normally don't take too many days off, but when I do, I have to put the work in to take advantage. But once again, we here, and knowing that we are here, let's get into this gardening thing. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all, when the gardener once told me to put some seeds in the ground and just everything's gonna be okay, they didn't tell me about watering. They didn't tell me about, doing the proper, maintenance on putting it in the ground, put it in the pot. What has to go in the pot? I'm learning so many more things in this garden community that surpasses my 4-H skills when I was in elementary school. Cruising is fun anytime what's going on. So it came to a point to where, the 4-H skills went out the window of just getting the seed, putting it in the pot and watering it, you know, thinking about compost, you know, knowing how to properly um, garden things. It takes time, and that's the thing. A lot of people nowadays don't have patience, you know, and that's one of the biggest things about gardening is having patience, you know. And to a degree, a lot of people just don't have the patience, you know, when doing the gardening. Just don't have a lot of patience. Um, a lot of times we neglect so many other things because of, like I said, the patience that we need, and for us to get the ball rolling, get stuff done. It takes time, you know. I first started growing, as you see right here, these green tomatoes, which have turned red. It took time, you know. And the one thing I could say that's pretty good about the tomatoes, all I did was water the tomatoes and they grew. Didn't have to really do too much. I transferred them out of the pot that I had and put them in a bigger pot. I actually got the little vine cage so they won't be growing crazy and the hanging of the fruits and they all everywhere. So I kind of kept them a little stable that way to where they can grow on something. Um, I could have put them in a pot and let them hang upside down and just pick them as they grew. So different little options, but at the same time, it was to get the thing started. That was my biggest thing about gardening is to get started. A lot of people tend to push stuff off to later, not really focusing. Hey, just get started. Those tomatoes were grown by just getting started. Same thing with I had some corn. I didn't water it as much, so that's why I kind of weathered away with the sun. But other than that, for the most part, that corn was growing pretty good. Green stock, never had any issue with it to, miss them water days and kind of got too busy. Once you get too busy for your plants gone. They die. You know. Shout out to Hands in the Dirt. He was having this confession where he talked about he went on vacation, I think for 7 days, and his garden was a mess when he came back. He had to do a little work to give it back some life. But other than that, hey, it was doing what it do. Uh, Learning, just basically from uh, getting some seeds and German. I think it's German side, German. I forgot. Germinate, yeah, germinate the seeds, and it starts small. I mean, understanding getting some seeds, just bare bone seeds, and trying to do something with them. you're gonna be, kind of struggling at first because to a point it's almost kind of scary to just get some seeds and hopefully it'll do something. I end up getting some elephant ears. Matter of fact, when I go home, I'm gonna take a picture and put it in my community tab of some elephant ears I had bought. Out of the three plants, only one of them grew. I mean, out of the three seeds that I had, only one of them grew, and it be like that sometimes. Same thing with the corn. I had about 12 seeds um, from the corn, and only three of them grew. I once again it happens like that. I neglect my carrots a lot because my carrots are growing pretty good, and just simply putting a little water here, and my carrots are growing real well. I haven't been taking pictures of my carrots because I've been more or less been focusing on my zucchini and my tomatoes, and my zucchinis just died off because they got drained, they got drenched out because of the rain. Shout out to Broke Farmer. He told me about it when I was talking to him on YouTube. Was telling me that I need to punch holes at the bottom because I'm drowning my seeds. So hey, got back on track. It's starting to bloom a little bit, so I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. But fall sitting in, and everybody's telling me plant green leaf vegetables, broccoli, kale, spinach, things of that nature. Um, I was thinking about growing some pumpkins. They said it's too late. You harvest around this time in the fall, stuff like that. Carrots. I mean not carrots, but corn, watermelon, uh, pumpkin, stuff like that, where you think, well, we get it in the fall. Well, that's the time when you harvest it. So, food for thought. Like I said, just learning as I'm going with this gardening thing. And overall, like I said, it takes time. A lot of people neglect, you know, putting in that time in the garden. You know, I have this short that I'm gonna do later, probably, if I can still find the video. And the guy talks about how everything costs so much, but everything is pretty much free. Needless to say, if you want your own food, you can grow it. It just take a little time, take a little energy, but you know, you wanting your own food, you can grow it. You know, Same applies to chicken and all that too. If you want some chicken, hey, grow them little chicks up. You know, Same thing with bacon. Preferably people like pork. Uh, Take that pig, feed them, get them fat. There you go. Vegetables as well, animals, livestock. There you go. It just take a little more time and energy than most. See, the biggest issue with a lot of people is mainly the time. That's even with me. I got so many projects going on. I got so many things I'm working on. Time is pretty much not on my side when it comes to situations like that. So when it comes back to us getting things together, properly getting stuff done, it's always centered around time. You know, I can do things if I have more time, and that's the thing. You need at least 8 hours of sleep. With at 16 hours of work, you got to have some time in there for rest. You got to have some time in there to eat. So a lot of time is being spent more or less working than resting. A lot of people eat on the go. I can't tell you how many times I've been driving and eating on a burger, burrito, or something like that while I'm driving. Even to the extent like chicken. Hey, grab me a chicken wing or thigh, something. I'm driving, one hand on the wheel, other hand um, grabbing something to eat. There's always been our thing to being so busy and not having enough time for stuff. So a lot of times, like they say, you make time for what you want to in life. And I wish I was sitting down for a minute. I could show some videos of different gardenings and stuff like that. A lot of gardening channels that I follow. Um, Passionately Intrigued, G Mama Grow. Hands in the Dirt. Just a lot of couple of channels. Miss Shirley, the OG Gardener. I've been following for a minute. Micro Farmer, Lead Farmer. Just a lot of different farming channels I've been following. They've been giving me good information, uh, learning about the wood chips, because I've been seeing so many people like jumping and acting crazy over wood chips. I'm like, well, it's just wood chips, but it's good for your garden. Taking cardboard, putting it in as a filler with the cardboard, wood chips, and then put topsoil on top. And when everything breaks down, brings that nutrients to your soil and, go from there. But I think I'm gonna do a video as well on that because I actually got some borders I'm gonna put up for a flower bed. So it's gonna go hand in hand with that. I gotta build this cage because I got deer, so I don't want the deers running up on my garden over here having a good time. Shout out to J3 Jigs. They went in his berries and just tore them things through. So being mindful of the deers in my neighborhood and Hands in the Dirt as well. He was talking about how his his garden gets ravaged by a rabbit. Rabbit been jumping all in the garden, and he was trying to get a rabbit to pass, but I think Hands in the Dirt says he's about to get him some rabbit stew, and that rabbit kept eating at his stuff in his garden. But like I said, just over time, it takes some work, and it's just overall putting in the work, you're getting the results. You put in minimum work, you get minimum results. You know, and sometimes when it gets to certain plants, you don't really have to do anything. It works for itself. Yeah. When it comes down to it, a lot of people, like I said, it's mainly comes centered around the time. And a lot of people who don't have time, just you got to start making time. Like I say, eat on the go. We're always quick to do certain things. Make time for what you need to make time for. You know, Same rule applies for and I was gonna make some T-shirts. I was talking to K Business, and I was thinking about making some T-shirts. My slogan, "We here," but mainly I talk about finance and stuff so much. I was gonna make T-shirts and say how you have a relationship with your significant other, but don't have a relationship with your money. And that's just gonna bring it to forefront to where a lot of people just jump in relationships and get it going. But how's your relationship with your money? Are you saving? Are you spending? You know, same rule of thumb. Like having a garden, it costs money. It's not cheap. It costs money, and a lot of people neglect that starting a garden. You gotta have a little money. Not a lot, but a little money to get the best results. You know, Buying the flower pots, not cheap. We're gonna go to the ground, buying that topsoil. Always tilling and pruning and getting the weeds out and walking around and watering. Those sprinkler system people have. It's not cheap. Different tools that you use to successfully help you prune your garden. It's not cheap. You know, to a degree, it's a lot of things that people need in order to keep your garden up. And a lot of times with keeping your garden up, like I keep going back to it and keep going back to it, it's time. you know Keeping that garden up takes a whole lot of time. You got to make time for it, just like we make time for going to work. Like I said, even with this YouTube. I'm doing a live now. I'm making time for doing this live. I had a little situation earlier, couldn't get on, but had to fix that. But making time for it now. You know, same rule of thumb applies for work. You make time for work. You make time for the kids. Make time. Because the reward and the benefit of you growing your own fruits and vegetables, and to some people that are livestock, that the reward of growing and then eating it is beneficial. I'm trying to get my kids into it as well, to where I'm challenging them to actually start, getting their hands in the dirt, get them into, gardening and doing different things as well. Yeah, I mean, it's plenty ways, that's cost efficient, but overall, you know, to a degree, I wouldn't say go hard or go home, but I would, to a degree, say don't go cheap as well, because you know there's basic things that you have around your house that you can use. A lot of people use like water jugs, milk jugs. Cut them, use them for pots. You know, to a degree, certain things you don't grow as big. You know, use them. Um, Tupperware. You're gonna throw that old Tupperware away. Use that. Same thing applies for the storage bins. A lot of people have old broken storage bin. You can take some cardboard, line up the hole where the storage bin at, instead of throwing it away, put some dirt in there. That's a big flower pot right there. You know, but eventually, you want to scale up. As time permits, you want to scale up. You don't want to sit here and you know as they used to call it, broken disgusted. You don't want to look broken disgusted within your garden. I mean, I know it's just a garden, but you want to make it look nice. That's something you can appreciate when you put the work in and put the money in. You know, it's beneficial. What just happened here? That's not good. Somebody trailer popped off on the highway. That's not good. Yeah, but more or less, yeah, we get those cardboards from Amazon all the time. Hey, it's so many things that we have in the house that we neglect that we can use. Uh, there's a lot of times I use just things multiple ways, different kind. I have juice bottles that I put screws in, because I have so many screws and nails for when I do my little side handyman work. That's mainly what I'm using them for. Gather up my screws and my nails, because those containers sometimes cost a good little bit of money. You know, Even though I could use them or buy the containers. I think I bought one at Ross for about $8 that individually break down all my screws and stuff. But I literally have so many screws and little parts from jobs I had that people threw away or bought extra screws and things. So hey, why not keep them? It's best to have them than to have to rebuy them because you threw a whole bunch of them away. So, like I say, that's why I keep them in the in the juice boxes. And same applies to other little things too as well. You know, old clothes. A lot of times you take your old clothes and repurpose them, use them for things. I've seen people took old T-shirts and made blankets with them. Take the old T-shirts, cut them, put some fabric glue behind them, and put them on a quilt, sew them in. You know, there's multiple ways. Yeah, using it the bag. Yeah, that's another method. I was looking at a video yesterday. seeing somebody took some grocery bags and tied it up to like this little wire fence and was holding up the watermelon because they had I forgot the name of the wall that they said where they put the watermelons, like the vine grew up on the wall. And so as they were growing, they were kept switching out the bags and giving them support and stuff like that. So a lot of times these conversations are needed, but how many of us are having a conversation? How many of us are actually working and you know willing and dealing with each other to get stuff done? You know, far in between. Say the least. Like I said, just gardening and trying to get within the process, get started. You know, make a little time, even if uh, shout out to Broke Farmer. He says that a lot about the bonnet truck going to Home Depot. Hey, I admit I bought a couple of plants from over there from that truck instead of starting off with seeds. But the thing is, it got me started, got me more interested into doing things. So when you can't wait, you can't wait. And once you get to a point where you have the vegetables and stuff growing, hey, start with seeds then. That's your best process. A lot of times people want to see the results. That's what hinders a lot of people by not seeing the results. But overall, like I said, hey, just get started, get it done. I'm about to get ready to drop off of here. I'm about to do a quick uh, financial video next. I'm gonna do a two hitter because I wasn't here yesterday. So I'm gonna drop one real quick. If you want to come back into the chat, if not, hey, I'll see you later around in these YouTube streets. All right. And you know what I always say. With that being said, shout out to everybody that came through. Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta tell y'all this. I'm a YouTuber now, so I gotta say like and you know, cool. That's all I ask. If you want to share, you share. If you don't want to share, cool. Hey, my information is for the people that want to come and listen and learn something. Other than that, to each his own. But once again, you know what I always say? We here and we gone.